One of the most practical applications of all the public speaking work you've done this semester with Captain Kirk is your knowledge and use of these skills when you're interviewing for jobs. So, we're going to spend this week practicing some really important interview skills that I think are good to know about and they're just useful for you to know. Most of you have jobs um, and have interviewed before, but you'll be interviewing again and again and again for all different kinds of levels and all kinds of different careers. And there's some tips I can give you. I'm an old man, I've interviewed a lot, but more importantly, you guys, many of you know I was an executive coach for about 10 or 15 years. So I've prepped people for CEO jobs, I've prepped them for all kinds of academic jobs, and we've used videotapes and practice interviews to really prepare. So one thing I'll tell you about interviews, regardless of what you're doing, is that one really good skill is to prepare. You don't just go in and wing it. You take the steps, all the steps you know, to make yourself most effective. Get the knowledge that'll help you, and to get your state prepared. And as you've seen with video after video, it's not enough to have it in our heads. We've got to get it in our faces, our mouths, and our bodies. So running through doing mock interviews is just a really important part of the hiring process. And if no one's told you that yet, I have. Always set up a mock interview with a friend, a family member, a colleague before you go in to any job, especially an important job. So prepare, mock interviews, practice. That goes without saying, you'd think. But it doesn't. We practice for all kinds of things, but we forget we have to practice for an interview too. Second is, dress appropriately. You guys, most of you know that. The problem these days is that appropriate dress isn't always the same in every context and in every interview. So the classic defaults still hold. Guys wear shirt with collar, white, light blue. Do you wear a tie or not? It depends where you're interviewing. Do you have to wear a blazer? It depends. Shirt with collar and long sleeves is important. Maybe a tie, maybe a V-neck sweater, maybe a blue blazer. Avoid jeans, shorts. Wear shoes that are leather, that are polished, as polished as you can make them. There are old folks who check out the shoes and make decisions about that. If you don't have shoes, wear your black sneakers. Women, same thing goes. Default to conservative and default to formal if you have any doubt. Collars are great. However, whatever you do on top, strong colors are better than crazy patterns. Show a minimum of flesh. Avoid super tight fitting clothes, either as a skirt or slacks or shirts. Jewelry and makeup and hair should not distract or shouldn't be too much. If anyone's looking at your fabulous hair, fabulous earrings, fabulous makeup, fabulous necklace, and they're going, wow, that's fabulous, it's too much. You should tone it down. Can you tone it down? And it's better to look boring and neat and trim than to draw attention to a part of your outfit. Shoes, heels or flats, it depends. But if you're going to wear heels, don't wear the heels. I gotta not swear. Don't wear your sexiest, wildest pair of shoes that are hard to walk in, that you might lose your balance in, or that are just too sexy, too magnificent, that draw our attention to your shoes. We don't want that to happen in an interview, because in an interview we want the attention to be drawn to your words, to your attitude, to your mood, and to your presence, not your outfits. That's what appropriate means. Ask people, notice, be curious about what is appropriate. That's the best advice. Be curious about what's appropriate. Find out. Do your homework. Show up on time. That should go without saying, but that's not even true. Show up 30 minutes early. You'll be there. You'll have a chance to breathe, to rest, to prepare, to look around, notice all kinds of things on site that you won't see if you're dashing in. Now, if you're driving yourself, drive there a day before or 2 days before so you know how far it is. You know what the traffic's like. You know that you're going to the right building and the right office. Scout all that out the day before or the week before so you're not nervous and dashing around on the day of the interview. If you are using public transportation, take the early bus. Take it an hour earlier because they always come late and they go to the wrong place. Scout out the routes. Take the bus that's going to get you there. Call the Uber ahead of time, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, so that you're on site 30 minutes plus on a new interview. If someone's driving you, lie about when the interview is. Tell them it's an hour earlier. That way, when they're late and you get there just on time, you're not freaking out. And you haven't messed up a chance of a lifetime for a working job that you care about. So on time means early, and early means be strategic with those rides, the dads, the moms, the brothers, the friends who are driving you. Just lie. Say the interview's at 11 when it's at noon, and that will serve you very well. Prepare, practice, dress up. With practice, I'm going to say, warming up is really important. Now, warm up is a mock interview, but warm up is also when you get to the job, when you get to the site, when you're waiting and you know it's going to be 15 minutes, excuse yourself, go to the bathroom, go into the handicap stall and give yourself a wiggle and pound your ribs. Make some noise. Whoever, squeeze your shoulders and let them drop. Put your hands up and let them drop. Do all of the work that you've done. If you can't do a full vowel dance, you can, although I've done them in parking lots. I've done them in handicapped bathrooms. I've done them in alleyways when it's important. But just doing the wiggle, the ha 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 ha, hum mama, just that, just a little bit, checking in with your body in the bathroom before you go in is going to help your body prepare to be your ally, to be at the ready, to put the meaning into your words and to not seize up. And it helps inoculate against all of that, that nervousness and stress which comes over so poorly in an interview. So prepare, practice, dress appropriate. And then the last biggie one is research. Research the position, research the company, and research the industry, or do it in the back order. And this assignment this week is going to give you kind of a chance to do that. I'm going to ask you to videotape your answer to an interview question. And so here's how this is going to work, and then I'll give you an example. There's a bunch of industries that hire in these parts. You may have a job in mind, you may have a career in mind, you may have an industry in mind, but if you don't, you can use these examples. Who hires around here? UPS hires, Amazon is opening up a supply center, People's Bank hires, Stop and Shop hires, there's all kinds of printing presses that are hiring graphics people around these parts. Sikorsky hires regularly in engineering. Who else do I have on my list? Let me just check. I know churches hire church educators to run their preschools and to run their church school programs. There's a great company called Aware Recovery that's hiring sober coaches with all kinds of backgrounds. The biggest qualification is that you're in recovery yourself and that you know about what that means. People's Bank, Amazon, church educators, Sikorsky, Home Depot, UPS, Lowe's, etc. So if you don't have a job that you're going for, if medical assisting, all of the doctor's offices, all the hospitals are hiring in all kinds of ways. Hospitals and nursing homes are hiring for all kinds of positions in all kinds of ways. Some of you are in those positions. So you can think about where you're working and interviewing for the next job up or a next Level Up, or you can use any of these companies that I've just listed to help you to think about a position that you would want to and could imagine successfully working in any of these companies in these industries. So I want you to pick one. You may be able to pick two for this exercise. Do some research. Go on the website. What are they hiring for? What are the names of them? And when we research, the reason we do this is to learn about the company, but you also really want to learn about the language of the place you are hiring for. That's easy if you're already there, but Home Depot calls it sales associates. I don't know what they call them. Client services people. It's different at Lowe's. It's different at Amazon. Everyone likes to use the word associates a lot, but it may be a salesperson, it may be low man on the totem pole, but you want to learn the terms that they're using. I don't know, what at People's Bank, banking assistance, client services. You want to learn the language and the terms. When you research a company, you can learn about the divisions, so you understand how it's organized. You can learn about the mission statement, really useful to know about when you're in an interview. What are their values and priorities? How are they publicizing those? So all of those things, all that information equips you to look like you do your homework and that you're ready to serve. So I'm going to stop the video now. I've given you some tips. What are the tips? Well, they are practice, dress appropriately, show up on time, do some research to learn the language of the company. And now in the next video, I'm going to tell you about the number one question that interviewers ask. And we're going to give you an exercise to do this week. See you in just a second.